Tuesday morning plane crash just north of Scottsbluff started a cascade of emergency response throughout the region. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, a pilot and a trucker are expected to be all right following a bizarre accident north of Scottsbluff on Highway 71, just north of County Road G. Scottsbluff County Sheriff Mark Overman shares preliminary details.
I can tell you that a crop duster hit a power line and caused the power line to go down. We have an 18-wheeler truck that hit the power line, and I can tell you that the pilot of the crop duster has what appears to me to be non-life-threatening injuries, and he's been transported to the hospital already.
And the semi-driver, okay?
Semi-driver's fine, yeah.
Okay.
He has some very minor injuries.
And it was any cattle on his truck? It looks
there
like
are cattle on the truck.
Okay.
We don't think the cattle were injured.
Okay. And I guess what's next? You know, with the plane crash, does the FAA have to come in? NTSB will be coming in?
NTSB has oversight of that. And so that's where we're at.
Region 22 Emergency Manager Tim Newman says the plane crashed into a cornfield and brought the power line to come down on Highway 71, and the cattle truck then hit the power line, causing poles and lines to come down 2 miles in both directions. NPPD and Roosevelt Public Power were on the scene, and NPPD spokesman Mark Becker says the crash took down at least 8 transmission line structures, impacting customers north of Scottsbluff for both power districts, and at least 2,400 customers were without power. And with the power outages, stoplights were out in town, causing a serious crash near Longfellow Elementary. A local woman hospitalized following a 2-vehicle accident in Scottsbluff at the intersection of 20th Street and 5th Avenue. Shortly before 10:45 a.m., first responders were dispatched to the scene. Upon arrival, they found a Tri City Roadrunner van on its side and a silver Buick sedan with front-end damage just south on 5th Avenue. Scottsbluff firefighters needed to use an axe to break through the windshields to get access to the driver of the Tri City Roadrunner van, who escaped with minor injuries. An older female passenger was still stuck inside the van, and firefighters spent approximately 10 minutes working to get access to her, and she was taken out on a backboard and transported by Valley Ambulance. Names of those involved have not been released at this time. The intersection also had a 4-way stop sign due to the power outage from the plane crash earlier today. Scanner traffic also indicated that the female driver of the Buick was pregnant at the time and also required hospitalization. More details on these stories can be found on our website at kneb.com. Well, coming up after the break, is there any chance for rain in our forecast? The Warriors got your Tuesday evening outlook right after the break here on KNEB.TV News.
At Platte Valley Bank, we believe it shouldn't cost you money to access your money. That's why we offer free ATMs anytime, anywhere. Whether you are across town or traveling abroad, there won't be an added expense to access the funds in your Platte Valley Bank account. Free ATMs are just one of the great benefits of banking with us. Stop by to talk to one of our friendly associates to discuss what else Platte Valley Bank has to offer.
Take your career to the next level with Chadron State College's online Master of Business Administration program, taught by experienced professors who care about your success. The accredited, fully online MBA program is backed by CSC's more than 100 years of education leadership. Flexible 8-week courses let you work at your own pace wherever you are, and CSC's experienced professors are committed to your success. Chadron State College, real people, real results. Join us today at csc.edu.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, we're dealing with clear skies tonight, partly cloudy anyway. We'll see a few more clouds, I think, in the overnight hour. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies for tomorrow, and the beat goes on here weather-wise. Prolonged heat wave continues. It's not a huge heat wave, certainly above normal temperatures. Only isolated storms are expected. Elevated fire danger is out there, and we will see maybe some changes late next week. It's going to take us a few days to get there, though. 98 yesterday for a high after a morning low of 60, just shy of that record high of 99 yesterday. Nothing in the rain gauge still, about 8/10 now below normal for the month, and about 4 8/10 below normal for the year. As we look at temperatures right now, we warmed well up into the 90s. We had a few clouds early in the day that stopped us from getting too much warmer than that, but low 90s here in western or central Nebraska, 80s on the eastern side of the state, but here in the hot zone is in our area, low to mid 90s, upper 90s in many locations. So all of these reporting stations in the 90s right now. And winds are calm for the most part, I guess, at 10 to 12 miles an hour, so nothing major out there in the winds. Now, we do have a marginal risk of severe storms yesterday. Had a couple this evening rather. We had a couple yesterday roll right here along the eastern edges of Dawes County through Box Butte and portions of Morrill County. Otherwise, we just have a marginal risk of severe storms today. Now, that expands into our area a little more tomorrow, and even as we go into Thursday, both of those days, again, we're going to have just isolated thunderstorm coverage. Most areas won't see storms, but if you see one, they have the potential to produce some severe weather. Very small chance of a storm early tonight. That is it. Otherwise, clouds going to increase a bit overnight, and lows are going to fall off into the 50s and 60s. Primarily 60s, I guess, tonight. Going to be a little warmer out there, low to mid 60s, in fact. Now, tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with cloudy skies early, but those will quickly turn partly cloudy, clear off a bit, destabilize the atmosphere, and I do think we're going to bring in some afternoon thunderstorms on a maybe slightly more scattered basis tomorrow, and that's still going to be few and far between. I don't think it's going to be everybody get some type of situation, and we're going to be hot again tomorrow in the mid and upper 90s for many of us. Rainfall very light and isolated if you get under some of those storms. So tonight dealing with a storm or two, very small chance of that, 64. Skies are going to turn cloudy late. We'll clear off tomorrow, partly cloudy, hot again. A stray late day storm or two around. 98 your expected high tomorrow, another hot one. And we're going to stay right in the upper 90s to near 100 all the way through the next 7 days. No changes in sight for this 7-day forecast with mainly dry conditions, hot, and no changes here for at least the next 7 days across the high plains.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask. I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask. I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
I wear a mask.
Be a team player.
Mask up, Bearcats.
Mask up, Bearcats.
Mask up, Bearcats.
Hey, I hope everybody's having a good summer. We'll see you soon, and mask up, Bearcats.
At 21st Century Equipment, we're proud to introduce the new Build Your Own tool. Build the John Deere you've been wanting and see how affordable it really is. Visit 21stcenturyequipment.net to build your own compact utility tractor, mower, or gator. It's easy to add implements, attachments, and view financing options. Build the exact tractor for your needs at a price you can afford, all from the comfort and safety of home, with the new Build Your Own tool at 21stcenturyequipment.net.
At TC & More in Scottsbluff, we have toys and puzzles for your children, or they make a great gift. TC & More has craft activities, pretend play toys, and dozens of puzzles and games for all ages. We also have the largest supply of Melissa and Doug toys. And we still carry all of your classroom essentials. Remember to like TC & More on Facebook. TC & More, 1621 Broadway, beautiful downtown Scottsbluff.
Welcome back. Panhandle public health officials say school mask protocols at both Chadron and Gordon Rushville schools minimize the impact, as staff in both districts were diagnosed as exposed to COVID-19. Unified Command said Monday that over the weekend, Chadron's superintendent announced that 3 staffers at the high school and 1 at the middle school had tested positive, and Gordon Rushville had 1 staffer as a presumptive positive. However, PPHD Deputy Director Jessica Davies said masks were in use the last week and over the weekend, not only by these staffers, but also by those who they were in contact with at the schools.
Had they not all been masks, a number of them would have probably been identified as a close contact and needed self-quarantine, which then would take out staff, which means then you can't have school in the fully functioning way that you want. And both of these schools started today.
Meanwhile, Unified Command confirming 7 recoveries, but 15 more cases of COVID-19 in the Panhandle during their Monday afternoon briefing. 10 of those new cases are in Dawes County, 4 in Scottsbluff County, and 1 new case in Box Butte County. The recoveries include 4 in Scottsbluff County, 2 in Morrill County, and 1 in Dual County. Through Monday evening, the Panhandle has seen 504 positive cases, 6 deaths, 434 recoveries, leaving 64 active cases. Those include 35 in Scottsbluff County, 19 in Dawes County, 5 in Morrill County, 3 in Box Butte, and 1 remaining case in both Dual and Sheridan counties. And Gering High School parents were notified today of the first positive coronavirus test results involving a student. According to the information sent to parents, Gering Public Schools received confirmation from Panhandle Unified Command around 8:30 last night that a positive COVID-19 case was identified as a student who was last in the building earlier in the day, Monday. In the statement, Gering High School says they are fully cooperating with public health contract tracing officials to identify other individuals who were in close proximity to the student within 6 feet for a period of at least 15 minutes. It says key factors to assist in the tracing include the existing safety protocols of classroom seating charts, mask use, and cameras within common spaces. Public health officials will notify directly any staff or students that may need to self-quarantine. Well, coming up after the break, Chabella Guzman will be in with a check-in on Ag News. We'll have that right after this on KNEB.TV News.
This chair is way too big. It's perfect for us. This one's tiny.
That's 'cause it's mine.
Hey, this chair is just right.
This bed is way too hard.
It's perfect for me.
This bed is way too soft.
Just what I needed. This bed is just right.
So come on over to Leaf Heads.
Home buying is filled with decisions. Neighborhood, floor plan, fenced yard. Make one choice that's easy. Start with FNBO first. We'll guide you home. Home buying is filled with decisions. Square feet, fixer-upper, room to grow. Make one choice that's easy. Start with FNBO first. We'll guide you home.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Wheat growers gathered at the recent Cullen Farm Seed Day in Hemmingford, where they heard from Nebraska Extension educators on some of the latest research on wheat. Cody Creech, Nebraska Extension dryland cropping specialist, says nitrogen plays a big factor in getting protein in the wheat, but it also helps in other ways.
Usually when we think about nitrogen management in wheat, we only talk about protein and we don't talk about the yield component. But what we do know now is that almost 90-95% of the time when we have less than 11.5% protein in our wheat, we're also leaving some yield on the table. We're not reaching our full potential yield-wise. And so we need to do a better job managing our fertility so we can both maximize our yield and that protein in the wheat.
Creech says for nitrogen management, both timing and amount matter.
What I like to do with my nitrogen is push it as late as I can in the spring. I do that for two reasons. One, it allows me to have a better understanding of what my potential yield might be. That yield goal is really important when you figure out how much nitrogen you need to put on your crop. When you do that in the spring, you're able to look at how it overwintered, how much moisture you had in the winter, and so by doing that, you have a better understanding of what your yield goal is going to be. And then by putting it on later, it's more available to the plant when it needs it. That wheat crop's really going to need that wheat once it starts to go to the boot stage and that hollow stem phase. We want to make sure that nitrogen is available then at that critical development, and not so much in the in the fall or early spring.
The dry, hot year didn't help the yields, but Creech says it did help the wheat protein levels.
Small business, you're the engine that makes our communities thrive. That's why we're with you, providing more for you, so you can focus on what matters most. Small business, you're the engine that makes our communities thrive. That's why we're with you, providing more for you, so you can earn more, save more, and do more.
As our world has changed, the way we stay connected looks different than before. Even though our communities and classrooms face new challenges and uncertainties, Viera Wireless is here to help your kids keep learning, in the classroom or at home. For less than 35 cents a day, our Student Unlimited plan has nationwide talk, text, and data, hotspot internet, and a free smartphone with no credit approval required. Learn more at viero.com or your nearest Viero store. Viera Wireless, keeping you connected.
When it comes to helping local folks with the loans and financial advice they need, we don't horse around. Our only goal is to help you and your family achieve your financial goals with the right loans and savings products. So if you want to bank with people that care about you and your financial needs, stop by or give us a call. First State Bank. We're big on you. Member FDIC. Online at fsbcentral.com.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at fsbcentral.com.
I wear a mask so I can get back on the basketball court.
I wear a mask so I can play volleyball.
I wear a mask so I can perform in show choir.
I wear a mask so we can have Old West Weekend. I wear a mask so we can have a Christmas concert.
I wear a mask to have a tennis season. I wear a mask to perform at halftime.
I wear a mask so I can be in the musical.
I wear a mask so I can perform in band.
Be a team player.
Mask up, Bearcats.
At Elite Physical Therapy, we provide preventative and rehabilitative treatments that maximize function and promote well-being for patients of all ages. With 2 locations in Scottsbluff and Gearing, we offer the convenience of you choosing your location with the same great services no matter where you go. Stop into one of our locations today, in Scottsbluff at 214 West 27th Street or in Gearing at 10th and M Street, and see what Elite Physical Therapy can do for you. Treatment you need and care you deserve.
At Platte Valley Bank, we believe it shouldn't cost you money to access your money. That's why we offer free ATMs anytime, anywhere. Whether you are across town or traveling abroad, there won't be an added expense to access the funds in your Platte Valley Bank account. Free ATMs are just one of the great benefits of banking with us. Stop by to talk to one of our friendly associates to discuss what else Platte Valley Bank has to offer.
And finally tonight, Monday marked the first day of school for the Panhandle's largest school district, with lots of safety measures in place. For the first time in 5 months, students at Scottsbluff schools returned to the classroom for perhaps the most unique first day of the school year ever.
We do require that masks be used. They're not being used, when you're doing things like playing an instrument or when you're exercising during PE or when you're eating. But in a normal classroom setting, masks are going to be required.
Director of Communications Melissa Price says it's not just masks for increased safety measures.
Temperature checks are happening. We were very fortunate that in working through Panhandle Public Health and Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, we got an additional 240 touchless thermometers, which allowed us to be able to put a thermometer in every single classroom. And then we have our return to school paraeducators who are kind of catching the visitors or people who come in late or whatever. They're catching those like at the elementary schools and are able to do temp checks on them from there.
She says keeping that 6-foot distance from others is also something that teachers are trying to achieve.
Well, our buildings are still the same size as they've always been, so there's only so much that we can do for space. But I noticed a lot of our teachers came up with some really creative solutions to be able to make that social distancing possible. I saw lots of different carpet spots on the elementaries and some things like that. You'll also see little Bearcat paw stickers all throughout the buildings that kind of give kids an idea of what 6 foot apart looks like when you're in the lunch line or you're waiting to get to class.
Additionally, increased sanitation efforts have been enacted throughout the district.
Yeah, there's hand sanitizer all throughout our buildings, and in some cases I've even seen teachers in the hallways just dispensing it out to students one by one as they walk by. We've also added throughout all of our schools water bottle fillers. We've turned off our drinking fountains and installed new water bottle fillers. We had them already in the high school, but we have them now in all schools, and we've issued district-issued water bottles to all students who want them.
Price says it may take some time to adapt and react to this so-called new normal, but most people were happy to be back at school Monday.
Well, I think it's just, we're just really excited to be back. Even the best laid plans, you've got to learn some things as you go. So we'll probably be making some adjustments. It's also been a little bit emotional today because we haven't been in school in a while. And, I think teachers really miss students and students have really missed being in school. So we're just happy to have, everyone here and everyone back.
In Scottsbluff, Ryan Murphy, KNEB.TV News. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you here next time.